All right, welcome back. Let's get right into one of the biggest, most important infrastructure decisions you're going to make in AI. We're talking about the real heavy lifting, AI training, and we're going to break down exactly why, when it comes to raw power, bare metal is pretty much always the winning play. But first, before we jump in, just a quick heads up. This is Module 2 of a 10-part tutorial, and it's all based on a deep dive report from Virtualization Options LLC. What we're talking about here is for general guidance. It's not legal or financial advice. So, make sure you talk with your own pros before you take any action. Okay, let's do this. So let me just start by asking you a question. Have you ever wondered why the absolute titans of AI, the labs building these world-changing models, why they all seem to land on bare metal for their training? Well, I can tell you it is not an accident. There are some incredibly good reasons for it, and that's exactly what we're going to unpack right now. Okay, so to really get why bare metal is the answer, you've got to understand the problem it's solving. AI training isn't just another app you spin up. It is a completely different kind of beast, and its unique demands are what drive this entire conversation. So what are we really talking about when we say AI training? Well, imagine feeding a computer model these massive data sets. I'm talking terabytes of information. And with each pass, the model tweaks billions or even trillions of tiny little knobs inside itself, trying to get better. It's kind of like a brain learning from a giant library, just reading it over and over and over again until it finally clicks. So let's break down what that actually requires. First off, the amount of compute power it's just insane. We're talking about jobs that run for thousands of GPU hours, pushing the hardware to its absolute physical and thermal limits. Then you need a ton of memory, hundreds of gigs of super fast GPU memory on every single machine. And here's the kicker. All those machines need to talk to each other like instantly. Even microsecond delays you couldn't even perceive, can stack up and add hours or even days to your training job. And that communication challenge is really at the heart of it. When you're coordinating hundreds of GPUs, the connection between them is everything. The source material has this fantastic way of putting it. It's like building a private 8-lane superhighway directly between all your computers, just to make sure there are absolutely zero traffic jams. Your regular old network? Yeah, it's not going to cut it. All right, so we've established that AI training is a beast, right? So why is bare metal the beast tamer? Well, it really boils down to three fundamental advantages, three pillars of performance that make it the clear choice for this kind of work. And here they are. Pillar number 1, direct hardware access. Number 2, fine-tuned optimization. And number 3, the grand prize, maximum throughput. Let's dig into each one. So, direct hardware access. What's that all about? It's simple, really. There's no middleman. With bare metal, there's no virtualization layer, no hypervisor sitting between your code and the GPU. That means your AI model gets to drink directly from the fire hose, using 100% of the hardware's raw power. The sports car analogy is just perfect. Bare metal is that car flying down an open racetrack. Virtualization, that's the same car, but stuck in bumper-to-bumper city traffic. And that traffic jam is your performance overhead. Next up, that second pillar, fine-tuned optimization. This is all about control. With bare metal, you are the master of the machine. You can tweak everything. You can get right into the BIOS, mess with the firmware, and install the exact specific GPU driver and CUDA version that your model runs best on. It's a level of granular control that lets you create a perfectly dialed-in system, something you just can't do in a managed, virtualized world. And all of that leads us to the third pillar, which is really the whole point, maximum throughput. At the end of the day, you just want your training job to finish as fast as humanly possible. Bare metal lets you do that by feeding your models gigantic batches of data at incredible speeds, and you never have to worry about some other noisy neighbor VM stealing your memory bandwidth or I/O. It's just pure, raw, dedicated performance. And hey, look, don't just take my word for it. This isn't some academic theory. It's the industry standard. Just look at the names: OpenAI, Google DeepMind, Meta, and Anthropic. The biggest players in the game run their most important jobs on bare metal. And think about this. Even the cloud giants, AWS, Azure, GCP, who built their empires on virtualization, they still offer bare metal options. Why? Because they know. For serious AI, you have to get rid of that drag. So let's talk more about that drag, that performance hit. Because it's not some vague, fuzzy concept. It's a real, measurable cost. This is where the rubber meets the road, where you can actually put a number on the price you pay for virtualization overhead in AI training.
And the numbers really don't lie. Study after study, benchmark after benchmark shows a consistent 10 to 25% performance penalty when you run the same AI workload in a virtualized environment. So, if you think of bare metal as your 100% baseline, you're immediately dropping down to around 82% efficiency on average. That is a huge chunk of performance just left on the table.
So, what does losing, say, 18 or 20% of your performance actually mean in the real world? Let's make it concrete. If you have a training job that takes one full week to run on bare metal, that performance hit from virtualization could easily add an extra 1.7 days. That's almost 2 full days of lost time, extra costs for GPUs, and delayed projects. It's a massive competitive disadvantage. And, it's not even just about the raw speed. It's also about predictability. With bare metal, your performance is steady and consistent. You don't get those frustrating random slowdowns because the hypervisor is busy doing something else in the background. And that predictability, as the report points out, is absolutely critical. It's how you plan projects accurately and how you keep these incredibly expensive AI initiatives on budget. Now, I've been making a really strong case for bare metal, and for good reason. But let's be fair. The source material is clear that it's almost always the answer, not always. So let's talk about the exceptions to the rule. When might it actually make sense to use virtualization for training? Well, there are a few specific cases. For development and experimentation, when data scientists are just prototyping and testing smaller models, virtualization is great. If your training job finishes in a few hours instead of a few weeks, that performance hit doesn't sting quite as much. And of course, some teams are just all in on cloud-native workflows and are willing to trade raw performance for the convenience of managed services. And that really brings us to the core trade-off. It's a choice. With bare metal, you are prioritizing one thing above all else: performance, speed, the fastest possible time to results. With virtualization, you're trading some of that top-end speed for things like flexibility and maybe some cost sensitivity on smaller jobs. You just have to decide which side of that scale matters more for your specific workload. But let's be crystal clear about the final verdict from the source material. For serious production-level AI training, the bottom line is unambiguous. Go with bare metal, unless you have a very specific, well-justified reason not to. Your default choice, your starting point, should always be the one that delivers maximum performance. So we've established a clear winner. For the training phase, bare metal is the undisputed king of the hill. But that brings up a really interesting question, because training is only half the story. What about the other half of the AI lifecycle? What about inference, when the model is actually out in the world doing its job? Well, as we're about to find out, the answer there is a whole different ballgame.